can't dye a black wig. I mean, that's just silly. Can't bleach it either, because, you know, it's not real hair. There's still bobby pins. Wait, really? So, again, those little lines that I showed you guys earlier with the wefts, if you flip the hair up, you'll see these little lines where all your wefts are. So if you take your lines of wefts and whatever color thread that you want to match your hair and a needle, you can hand sew directly to these and add colors and highlights and oof to your wigs as much as you want. One thing I do suggest being careful of is there's only so much stretch that you're going to have, because we have stretch around here. So who's never worn a wig and never seen how it stretches on the inside?
Are you going to put it on
But it's not stretched on the inside, because this is where the hair is. It's all this is hair and thread. So you can buy your wefts, or if you have like a 6-foot-long wig and you decide that you don't want to buy wefts, you can make your own. Whoa. Whoa. Mind blowing.
How would you do that?
So thanks to Anne. Everyone thank Anne.
Thank you, Anne.
Because Anne is best.
Yes. I'm going to make a weft for you guys. Maybe. I might sew on the floor. This is how I did it in college. Because I didn't have tables. I just had a machine and a knee. Do this with the pressure foot. Or the foot pedal.
Is that because you live in an overseas country?
Because I'm Asian, all I do is sit on the floor. We don't have beds. We have like these little mats made of rice and bamboo.
Now you're being racist.
Okay. Okay. Who has a sewing machine? So
I have one, but I don't know how to do
it
it.
has zigzag stitches, right?
Yeah, in theory.
It should. Have a zigzag
My
stitch.
intention is bicycle stitch.
Bicycle stitch.
Like, you can make a stitch that looks like a bicycle. I wish I were kidding, but I'm not.
How does that even work?
I don't even know. I have not tried it yet. But all I know is that there's a bicycle stitch.
Mine's gonna play music. Okay, so how I make wefts. Where does everyone else finish with the on the right here. Alright, so this, everybody, unless you embroider, you might not know what this is. You know what this is? What is this?
Stabilizer.
What kind of stabilizer?
Tearaway.
No. Try again. No. Try again. Try again. Water soluble.
I do it.
Okay. Who remembers science class? What does water soluble mean?
Water.
Thank you. See, I always work science into my panels somehow. I just like that. For science. Because who doesn't like science, right? The kids that failed.
You know I made a face.
Did you fail science?
No, I didn't fail science. I'll fail English.
I failed English.
Hurry.
Right, so, again, for some of you that have seen my crazy green wig, these are some of the wefts that I put into it. Even though these are called yaki wefts. They're typically what people make braids out of. And why is it called yaki? Because it's wacky. It's kind of wacky. It's kind of textured. You can feel it. It's kind of weird and.
Oh, it even looks like it.
Yeah, it's very thick and yarn-like. It's not really silky. I've actually taken wigs made of this. Now, this kind of hair is not heat resistant unless you do something very special. This will melt on your curling irons. I have ironed it before we could, covered it with wet towels and then ironed over the wet towels, and I steamed here this yaki to be kind of silky straight. Why did I do that instead? Because guess what? This kind of hair is cheaper. Because, you know, I was a broke college kid one time and it's all I could afford. So I'm going to make a little cheap weft. Oh, look, it's pretty braided. It's like one big jump on. I'm on the floor now.
You can sit up here.
What if I want to lay on the floor?
Then you lay on the floor.
Okay.
Have a
Now,
good
I still
view.
have my embroidery foot on here, so I'm going to see how this works without my actual foot. It's my foot.
What? Closer again.
You don't want to know.
We have one like the back of my house, so don't feel bad.
Huh?
I have one just like that back of my house. So,
You have a diamond too?
I don't really use it. My sister does sometimes, but yeah, I don't know how to sew yet.
Mom doesn't like sewing machine?
No, because whenever she was younger, she sewed some fabric and so I didn't notice that it was getting sewed inside of her.
Oh, wow. I've done that too, but guess what? I still sew.
Yeah, well, she taught me how to hand sew because she didn't want me to do that myself.
I keep breaking the thread, please. You can add just the scissors, please?
Yes, you can.
So I wore a corset
good thing I'm
yesterday
short.
and today. This feels amazing.
And she
I
died.
would really like to not have a bra on, but that's inappropriate in public.
Okay, so I take the water soluble stabilizer. Oh, kick my machine. Don't do that at home. And then I take the loose hair. And then you just want to make sure that you distribute it somewhat evenly. And then what we're going to do is sandwich it in. Why do we use, can anyone tell me why I'm using something and not just throwing hair through my sewing machine? And that would suck, right?
I'm guessing that that's a lot of money.
A little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and put this through here. I have my zigzag stitch. That's not a zigzag stitch anymore because my foot did it.
So for those who can't see, she's literally taken a piece of like what looks like wax paper, and she's laid out like this width worth of hair, and she's laid it on top, and she's literally just gonna sew on top of the hair like this. Okay?
And you
so
want
paper. This is the hair. She's laid it right on top, and she's just gonna sew right on top of it to keep all of the hair fibers to the paper.
And you guys see I'm keep going back and forth and back and forth. Because the more stitches I put in here, sometimes I'll go 7 to 10 times depending on how silky the hair is. Because the more stitches you do, the better it's going to hold. So once I go through and sew my left, and I missed some hair. Housekeeping hates me. Every time I do a panel, I make a mess.
Can't be fair.
So if I was to throw this in water, this would all disappear. I would be left with the little black crisscross sewing line, and I would just snip across the top, and then this little black crisscross sewing line. That's what I would use to sew into my wig cap, and I would have extra hair. So my big green wig, that's
She
what I
could
did.
add it into here, hand sew it in there, like chocolate.
What size of zigzag did you use? Like, is it a tiny or is it like a bigger zigzag?
I'm not going to go through as much as I would normally when I'm actually making the wigs. I'm just showing you guys an example. I feel so horrible. I think an alien cat died in this room. Which was illness. You don't want alien cat food?
I'll take care of Ellie.
I'll take alien cat food.
Oh, curling. I don't know which one you unplug, so
Does anybody else
you
want to see
unplug the
this?
straighter, but I think the curling is
Awesome.
One of the finished one.
Yes, one of the parts is falling
They're
out.
curling. I know some people are like, oh, the heat resistant wig. I'm going to curl it. Awesome. Check this out. I'm going to curl it.
Anyone else over here want to
It's shedding.
help?
It's shedding.
Because I didn't do enough zigzags.
Here you go.
That's the
Like,
Drop it on your head.
curling it, I'm curling it.
Hold still. You've got you've got green fibers in your lovely pointy and
Why didn't it hold a curl? It's a heat resistant wig.
Cat.
because it's heat resistant.
Because it's synthetic. Just because
tights.
Because it doesn't like that. This is a trained straight wig. When I curl, it's a heat resistant straight wig for it to hold the curl. Gotta get it nice and hot first. I have bacon fingers, so once I get it to curl, I'll hold that curl in my hand until the plastic cools, because it's still plastic, even though it's not melting and it's a heat resistant plastic. You have to trick the wig. Be nice, you know, talk to it, cuddle it.
Hold it with your tears. That helps.
Not your tears, use the tears of your enemies. It's much more effective.
Tears. 32 virgins.
I thought it was
Are you
72.
gonna find any on there?
We're having anime con. I could probably find a bunch of virgins.
Oh,
Is that on the bingo card?
I'm sorry.
That should have been on the
I love
bingo
you all.
card.
You are at anime con. Let's be honest about it.
I thought it was 72 tears, not 32.
You know,
It's-
I just think
okay.
the low numbers. Like, say something.
Once
Holy
it
crap.
cools, it actually holds the curl. So just be patient. Don't be like, I'm curling a wig, and then once you let it go, you're like, the website lied. It's supposed to be heat resistant. Why isn't my curling iron working? It's not because your curling iron's not working. Because it's a heat resistant wig. If I were to flat iron this back, same thing. It's just going to have to cool down and rehold the shape.
Say
But
what?
if I were to walk this,
Move this off the ground.
I know a lot of people seem to have that
I'm gonna ask you
trouble
about
with trying to
cutting
curl a
wigs.
wig. They lose their patience because of like,
About like
why?
cutting wigs, like
But
long
for
wigs
those
to
of you
short
who've seen
wigs.
like how much green wig I have, to make the process faster, I kept a big pile of bobby pins with me. So every year I
Have you weighed
curl,
that?
huh?
Have you weighed that green wig and see how much it weighs?
I'm gonna wait till I'm completely done with it because I'm still adding it. It's gonna be bigger. It's gonna be showgirl big.
Ooh.
Taking that.
Godiva long.
I don't know long, but just like weeks I'm going for showgirls. I want to bring it to Vegas and be like, how? Top that, showgirls. Look at this.
They're doing Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Oh God.
Science too.
So I have a question actually. I kind of asked her, but I was going to get more in detail in it. So I got a long black wig offline, and I decided to cut it short. And I kind of messed up on like the very bottom part. She told me just to.
She's gonna show me.
Alright.
We like examples.
It's alright.
Visual learner.
Cut it. Just got it right up here. So these fibers are falling out.
You can just make a weft or at least 5 wefts and install a new line of hair and start over because you have the base wig cap. It's already there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I went the cheap way, and I was like, you can either double stitch it, so you can do another stitch in it, because you probably loosened all the stitching, or you can go through with your hairspray or you're about to be glued and tack it there. Because, it's all
Yeah.
about being cheap.
and I know that I had someone ask me about cutting earlier. I think a common mistake I've seen with people in wig cutting is like, oh, scissors, hair. We have a hairstylist in this room. She'll be like,
Yeah, you don't blood cut a wig. It doesn't ever grow back, so a bad haircut on a wig stays a bad haircut.
yeah. So I mean, I'm not a stylist, so I don't trust myself.
So like.
Because of that reason, with scissors in a wig, I don't know about you.
Oh, this is a giant wig.
You're a Chinese-sized head.
Like, the bottom of the wig is down here. Like, I have this wig pulled all down here.
Well, aren't you lucky?
Yeah.
But see, we're kind of, she lives like 15 minutes away from me, so if she infects my wig, I can go to her house and infect the house.
I
That's your part, not your husband's part.
got
know. But,
I've got cooties.
but with wig sizing, there is ways around
It's like the
it.
exact
You can
length
take a
that I
bigger wig and make
need
it
for a
smaller.
rookie
You can
wig.
take the elastics in. You can use the clippy things to make it smaller. And if you have a really, really small head like Casey, you can.
I literally wear all of my wigs like this. So I clip the 2 ends together. So wigs come with like the little sizing back back here. If you've ever been like, oh man, what are all these little things back here?
It's for the bra hooks.
So it's like where you can make the wig tighter and you can actually just store your wig like that. So like if you were like, oh man, I need this wig in 2 inches, I can actually put it in this little strap. Maybe. I'll just take the bras off, man.
She likes to take the bras off.
So you can put it in this little strap and you can actually just store your wig like that. So every time you pull it on and off, it's the size that you need. Now, if somebody has a baby head, you just put the 2 bra straps together.
And now for those of you that have bigger heads, and you're like, why is this wig too small? You can fix that too. So the inside of your wig caps, going this way, it will be stretchy. Going in the way of the weft, not so stretchy. And that's typically the part that is going to be tight on people. So if you have a headache when you're wearing your wig, one thing that you can do, you can snip a couple wefts here and there. Not the whole thing, just a couple. And that will give you some little extra space. Don't just go in and go crazy and snip around. Just maybe like do one on each side, test it out. That's not enough. Do another couple, one on each side, test it out. Baby steps on the way through until it's comfortable for your head. I've never had that problem though. I know some people that have big heads. And I know they're little big.
I got a little baby.
Big head.
I didn't know that was what that was for. I've always just waited together.
Yeah. So like if you've been hooking them together and you're like, man, this wig is squeezing my head, I bite the end of it, I have a migraine, you probably got it too tight. So then you use the little elastic holders and you can actually adjust it to the size that you need.
No, it's perfect that way, so I have a baby head. I can wear kids' hats.
I guess other ways to add poof. I'm working on a jasmine wig because I'm doing a Jedi Princess Jasmine soon.
Nice.
So some people would use like foam that put under the wig and they comb hair over it. But if you use foam, you have to color the foam because if you use white foam under a black wig, what's going to happen?
It's going to show through.
Still look like she's becoming Granny Jasmine. We don't want to be Granny Jasmine. So what I did, or what I'm going to do, is I got these things called, they're for making hair buns. They're black, so I'm going to be cutting these, sewing them into my wig, and combing around them, so it's going to add poof. A lot of people also use these for actual hair buns, to give their hair poof, because not everyone has nice voluminous hair. We have tricks. I know you know tricks. I've also used, who knows what tool is? The itchy scratchy stuff that all little girls wear when their moms are like, you have to go to church. Like, please don't make me go to church. You have to, and then they make you wear the itchy scratchy dress, and you're like this all day. Does something makes you do this?
I did that yesterday.
You did this. Okay. Since it comes in so many different colors, I've actually used some of that in wigs. I'll sew it into like ruffles. Not with ridges, just with ruffles. Sew those just like I do wefts into the weft lines of my wig. Comb over it since it's the same color as my hair. You can barely see it, and it helps add extra poof without the weight of extra hair. I don't like keeping the lace, but I know you like keeping the lace.
I like to keep the lace because you can make your own lace front wigs. So
You can ventilate your own lace.
yeah, I mean, I like to keep all, like, so if I buy a $72 lace front wig, I'm keeping the lace that came with it, so I can potentially make my own.
Plus you don't want to do this.
Do that. Like that. Okay, so like what you would do is you have.
Tony and
Mike Wazowski!
So she's like this, so you still see where it is, so you're going to be able to trim after you get this wig all settled. I don't know why I'm choking. It feels really good to do it.
No, don't say that.
As soon as